what sparked the 100-mile week streak? Because you're on, is it 167 miles or 167 weeks right now?
Yeah, I mean, tonight, if everything goes to plan, I will hit 168 weeks in a row of running over 100 miles. So, I mean, I think, what sparked it was right around when COVID started, and so there wasn't like all my races got canceled, and so I didn't have anywhere to put my energy, and so I it just sort of started as like, well, this is kind of hard. Like, we'll do this, and this will be similar to like racing because you can't really do 100-mile weeks and then like run ultras because the ultras then get in the way of the 100-mile weeks. Um, and I did it for like a couple weeks, and then I got really crazy, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna run 1,000 miles in a month. And so then I ran 1,000 miles in a month, which there's like 200
Oh my gosh.
200+ mile weeks, and I was number one in the world in Strava, and I
Holy
was like,
shit.
you know what? I'm gonna do that again. And so then I ran 1,000 miles the next month, and so then I was like 8 weeks into running 200-mile weeks. And then I did that for 18 weeks straight of 200-mile weeks. And then I ran Cocodona the first year, so that would have been 3 years ago. And then after that, it was like after Cocodona, like I couldn't continue on the 200-mile streak. So I did 18 weeks straight, and then I bumped it back down to 100 miles, and then have been at 100-mile weeks since then. Um, and normally it's like 140 to 180 somewhere around there. I don't normally have a 100-mile week, but everybody understands what a 100-mile week is, so that's just what I say it is. Yeah, it's something crazy. Like I've run like 23,000 miles in 3 years or something like that, because I think I had two 8,000-mile years and then one 7,000-mile year. Um, it's a lot of miles, a lot of time on the feet.
Dude, that is incredible. I didn't know any of that. All I knew about was the 167 weeks of 100 miles a week. My gosh, my mind is just blown right now. Like, like, what do you think allows you to do that, like physically? Because I know you run. Are you all on the trails? Or are you on the road? Because obviously, I think that makes a difference. But like, like, how is your body so resilient to be able to keep going through all those miles?
I mean, I do both. The advantage of being like an ultra runner is I normally like run on the road to my trails, and then I'll run in my trails and then run home. So it's like it's a combination, but I mean, I prefer the trails. I think trails are better on the body, and then use like more complex muscles and everything like that. Um, I mean, I think the reality is like because I'm not professional, because like I'm not like out there like competing um, for like the top spot or anything like that. Like I can just be wrecked all the time, and I've just sort of like embraced that. Like I'm always sore. I always wake up like and get out of bed like an 80-year-old man, until like my body until I like warm up a little bit. Like my body's like, oh man, you like killed yourself yesterday. Let's take a day off, like every day, and then I kill myself again, and then it's just been going on for years and years and years. So. Um, Kind of like like Candace did it for 200 days, and she would talk about, I don't know if you're familiar with her streak,
Hmm.
an ultra every day, and she talked
Yep.
about how like it got easier, on some level. Like I mean, on some level it's so routine, and it's like I'm so consistent with it that like it's not necessarily hard. It just is like a normal thing that I do now. And so my body just sort of feels that way. But I think in general, I run slow. Especially, I mean, on trails and stuff. I also mixed with um, the high mileage. I get like high vert too. So like I normally average somewhere like around probably like 100 miles of vert per mile. So I'm running up and down hills a lot too. Um, I like to at least get like 10,000 feet of vert per week, which is a fair amount. So that slows you down too, but it also like builds a lot of strength and like it's helpful for ultras. But that's the million dollar question is everyone's like, how do you do it? And why aren't you injured? And why, I don't, I mean, I do get injured. I pull muscles. I have like, I get like sore in weird areas and like sometimes it takes like a week, a month to like have that soreness go away. But like I've just found that if I just keep running, eventually, it gets better.